So this is Truly Madly Derby, and of course every week we like to interview a voice of Derbyshire. This is a first because I am interviewing in my slippers, and not only that, the person I'm interviewing is also wearing his slippers. Thank you, just for proof. Yes, we are in the Dawes Media studio, and today I am interviewing honorary Voice of Derbyshire, as you will find out. He is the voice of Derby County to many. He is BBC Radio Derby's Derby County commentator and my husband-to-be. Hello.
Well, hi.
How nervous are you right now compared to other interviews you've done?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 9.
Okay. I'm glad I have that
See
power.
if you've still got the old magic.
It's taken a lot of convincing. We had to wait for season 2 because we didn't really want it to be like, oh, she's interviewing her husband. But actually, I mean, talking about Voices of Derbyshire, I mean, you're up there. You are well and truly up there, even though you're actually not from Derbyshire.
No. Sutton Coldfield, but my family roots are here, on my dad's side. And he was born literally a stone's throw from where we are right now in Somercotes. And the Dawes family sort of expanded over time. My dad's father was the blacksmith in Somercotes. So he, you know, was part of the community, a proper trade. My dad often talked about growing up with the smell, the acrid smell of horses being shoed and the smell of it, and you know, working in the shop that they had on the corner of Mansfield Street opposite the school. And yeah, I mean, he grew up here. His dad had a number of brothers and a sister. The sister married into the Owen Taylor butchery family, Sam Taylor, I think. So there is a connection there, and I'm still pushing the family discount. Never had it.
Never had it. How many Christmas hampers have we had now?
Oh,
never
loads.
get a discount. Richard Taylor, if you're listening. So you've talked about your dad, Roger Dawes' memories of growing up in Derbyshire in Somercotes. What's Ed Dawes' first memory of Derbyshire or life in Derbyshire?
It's weird because my grandparents lived on the Windmill Estate in Riddings when they retired from running the shop, being a blacksmith. I didn't really know that part of their life too much. There are pictures of me very small in the workshop, but I don't remember it really. So I used to, Mum and Dad had season tickets at the baseball ground, so they'd watch the Rams. We'd come up on a Saturday morning, me and my sister, we'd be dropped at my grandparents' house, have a meal. Mum and Dad would go off to the match. We'd be kept entertained all day, occasionally turning the radio on to listen to Graham Richards' second half commentary, as it was back then. And then Mum and Dad would come pick us up about 5:30, and then we would go to Ripley to buy the football special, green newspaper, on the way out of Riddings, and then back onto the A38 and home again. But during those periods of time, my grandpa used to take me and my sister for walks. So we'd walk the old railway line that ran at the back of the estate. We'd go down to Swanwick Junction, or stand in the field overlooking Swanwick Junction at the steam engines. Sometimes we'd go to Riddings Park and watch the cricket. Or just, you know, we'd stay in the house. And I always remember they used to turn the TV off during a thunderstorm. Just really random. So Saturday afternoon, there'd be a thunderstorm. You'd be watching the snooker or grandstand, which was probably the snooker. And, rumble of thunder, right, television off. It was like they expected the house to get blown up because they've got a TV aerial, but that's that generation, isn't it? So we used to come every Saturday when Derby were at home, And my grandfather always used to grow loads of vegetables. So it'd be like helping him pick the beans or watering, pottering around. Me and my sister would play cricket on the front lawn, which was really, really narrow. Or just, yeah, it's just happy times. And then, you know, we'd be fed or bathed, fed and bathed. And then we'd go home again. But it wasn't just that, actually, because we went to, my dad played cricket at a really good level for a team called Birmingham Municipal in Birmingham, funnily enough. And we'd go on cricket tour to Derbyshire. So we used to come to Eckington. We'd play at Eckington and loved Eckington. Huge cricket ground, massive woodland forest at the bottom end, and a wall across the back of the boundary. And they were such a great bunch. They had two kind of temporary buildings down the bottom of their cricket pavilion, which I don't think had any electricity. And then they had a container for the shower room. And then there was a little pavilion, which was like the where you'd have tea, and then the bar. And it was just really cool to go there every summer, really excited to go to Eckington. We used to play tug of war. Me and my sister would go into the woodland and just sort of build dens. I found an ice house and, you know, just loved going there. We'd go to the pub in the middle of Eckington, which isn't there anymore, the Prince of Wales. We used to have a pre-match, you know, because it was cricket tour. I'd have half a Coke and egg and chips, whereas the players would be like 5 pints, egg and chips, and then go and play cricket because they were on tour. And there's loads of photos. There's loads of photos of that happy time. When that cricket club folded and the tour stopped, after a year or two, some bright spark decided we'd go again to Eckington, just as like old boys. And by then, I was old enough to play. So me and my dad actually opened the bowling at Eckington, which was fantastic. So he'd be at the bottom end. He'd always take 4 or 5 wickets because he was really good. But I got 2 wickets. I bowled a left-hander around his legs, and I bowled another guy. So we both took some wickets early on in the game. So that was really great. We did that, you know, I think that was the final year we went, actually, that we opened the bowling together, which was a real memorable moment because my dad always says he wished we'd played cricket longer together.
Obviously, cricket-wise, people listening to this don't know you as well for cricket, although obviously in your role at BBC Radio Derby, you quite often pop up in the cricket commentary, quite often by Dave Fletcher's side. I mean, most of the time you're just there for a jolly.
No.
I mean, come on, your job really.
You don't understand cricket and therefore you think it's just a jolly.
But you are being paid to go and watch sport. That's
the career I wanted. So?
I mean, you know, people would be forgiven for calling it maybe a jolly.
So, basically, I've blagged my entire career, thank you. No, I love the cricket.
You are lucky though, aren't you, to do what you do.
Oh, it's not a job.
Exactly, that's my point I'm making. Not a job.
The hardest thing about my job is the driving.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. But, you know, you're right. I get paid to watch sport.
Yeah, exactly.
And deliver it.
And actually, what people may not know is that you knew what you wanted to do when you were, 8 years old?
8 years old, yeah.
I mean, for a start, there are not many 8-year-olds who are that clear on the job they want to do. True. Because that's very young. But to then know what you wanted to do and then get to do it eventually.
Yeah, and it's weird because it comes back to Derby County again, and having a season ticket when I was 8 at the baseball ground. And when you're an 8-year-old, you kind of get bored waiting for adults, or, oh, look, there's a door, I'll go through that. And that's exactly what I did. We sat in the Normanton upper tier, which was the 3rd tier of the stand behind the goal. So it was quite high up, great view. And at half time, I go to the loo and then I'd escape, go down the stairs. There was a door, didn't know where it went through it, ended up out on the pitch, next to the pitch. And then went into the main stand because I thought, I think I know where they broadcast from. So I went and watched Colin Gibson and Graham Richards do their halftime reports. And at the end of the game, I used to go back and do that as well. And it got to the point where Colin said, do you want to come and sit with us and just watch what we do for a game? So I did. And Derby played Manchester City, old Manchester City, when they were rubbish. And we beat them 6-0. And it was brilliant. I sat next to Graham Richards and Colin, and Alex Strelinsky was there, I think, as well. And and I just thought, he's getting paid to talk about football and watch it. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I mean, I've always grown up listening to football on the radio, when it was Radio 2 before Radio 5, and Test Match Special when it was on Radio 4. I've always listened to sport on the radio, and I've always wanted to do that. I always wanted to do that as a kid, you know. So yeah, and the connection with Colin from the age of 8 went on for a very long time. And it moulded what I wanted to do as a career, you know. So I left school, I went to college, I did media studies at college, and then I got a place at University of Lincolnshire and Humberside, as it was then. It's now University of Lincoln, doing media production, which was fantastic, and I didn't realise how much it would have an impact on my life. Going there, small university, just, you know, second year students, brand new campus, and just sort of becoming that adult, which I still haven't managed to find. But, you know, starting to be treated like an adult, you know, you're out on your own, all your decisions are you've got to live with, you managing your time, you've got to work hard, all that. And pubs, girls. I actually failed. It terrified me. I actually failed 2 essays in my first year, and had to retake them during the summer.
Because you were too busy enjoying happy hour.
Yeah. Oh, you knew her too. So that terrified me, because I'm here to get a qualification that'll get me through the door, and I did that degree, got that degree, stayed on and did a postgrad in Lincoln as well. So I had 4 fantastic years there, and that got me that qualification, the experience. But during that final year, I had to get some work experience. So by now I'm 21, and I've been in education up until I'm 21, and I'm thinking, Colin. So I got back in touch with Colin. I said, I don't suppose you remember me. He goes, of course I remember you.
You were the annoying little brat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So from an 8-year-old, I'm knocking on his door via email.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yes.
I know.
That was a thing by then.
I know.
That's how old we are.
In 2000, yeah. And he said, right, yeah, sure, absolutely, come and see me. So I got on a train from Lincoln to Derby, and I had to give up my season ticket at Pride Park, and worked in the studio all season, and did a bit of cricket with Ian Hall, of which I remember shouting, "Oh, he's out!" over his commentary, and he gave me an absolute death glare.
Because actually, ironically, you've had to deal with that as well, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
On the other side.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, isn't it?
It's hard to contain
excitable people.
Well, I mean, you know that. Yeah. But, you know, your summarisers who are also Derby fans, willing Derby to win, you can get carried away at the moment, forget you've got a microphone on.
Yeah, absolutely. But I learned the harsh lesson of the mistake, and you're talking about people shouting over you. I thought I knew the scorer and named him before I was sure. So I named him as Sean Barker, but it was actually Chris Porter, and I got Roger Davis shouting, "It's Porter! It's Porter!" over the top of me, and I thought, yeah, that's a harsh lesson to learn, but, you know, it's one that you learn immediately. And then I got another game against Blackpool at home, which I lost 2-0 on Boxing Day. And I was kind of, that was the dream job, to come and do that job. And then 2012, I arrived permanently.
So that first Derby match that you got to commentate on? I mean, I think a commentator is that kind of a bit like a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You've got to have your brain wired in a certain way.
I think so.
To be able to do it. And I don't mean as a commentator you have to be psychotic. Probably a bad although but you do have to have that memory, don't you?
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I'm not gonna lie now, Ed's awful at remembering where he's put his keys, for example, but he can tell me who scored and in which corner and at what minute in a game in 1990 something. I'm right, aren't I?
Yeah.
That's how your brain is wired. So you must remember that first. You must remember it like it was yesterday, that first commentary, Derby commentary.
Yeah. I remember it was really fast. The game was really fast. We were at Vicarage Road, Watford, on a scaffolding because their main stand, Graham Taylor stand, was falling apart, and it was condemned. And it was me, Roger Davis, and Charles Collins, because I think Bloomers was away, Gibbo was probably skiing. So yeah, and there we were, given the gig, and yeah, it was weirdly enough, John Eustace was playing in that game for Watford, as was I think Craig Forsyth played in it as well, and Scott Loach, who left Derby last summer, and that was 2009, and it was really daunting because there can be really harsh critics, Rams fans, and even 16 years ago, at the age of 30, doing that, it's really daunting because my voice was. All the commentators I was growing up with were senior people. You know, they had like Alan Green and Mike Ingham on Radio 2, Radio 5. They had sophisticated voices, you know. Graham Richards, sophisticated voices. So yeah, a 30-year-old me with a high-pitched voice, not high-pitched, but not a mature voice as I probably may have now, I don't know. But yeah, it was stressful, but I got through it, and I got another gig, and the rest is history. But it was just, it's really strange when you do something and you're given the opportunity to do something you've always wanted to do. And I never take that for granted, the position I'm in, because so many people work to pay the bills and have to work to pay the bills, and they might not like their job. And there's loads of people who do that. But stick me in a football ground or a cricket ground and give me a microphone and I'm well away. I just love it.
You say about people not liking their job, but there are elements to your job that have been quite tough that you've had to deal with. And I'm sure many people doing a similar job to you or with your profile will feel the same. So we'll talk about that in a moment with Ed Dawes, our honorary Voice of Derbyshire.